Your boy is back. Yo.
Random sometimes. We might put a cover on a letter or on somebody's fax. We might not. We might address it with we might write our name on something, or we might stamp it. Every time it's different. So we're going to get rid of the variation. So if you look at your business, these are all questions for you to answer. Let's kind of go through this. Marketing. David Novak, the CEO of Yum Brands, the guy who came up with Yo Quiero Taco Bell and decided to send a KFC logo into space, and then he came up with crystal clear Pepsi. The idea was to get you talking about Pepsi. But he says your number one goal for marketing is to break through the clutter. Because you know what? If I'm a DJ and you're a DJ and we both do a good job, it's not who writes the best book, it's who sells the most books. The best selling, not the best written. So look at your business for a second and say, do you break through the clutter? You know, what you said about the computer repair or the computer work you're doing is incredible because you told me straight up, this is what I do, this is why it's better, this is what's going on. Now, I just question all of us to look at ourselves and say, what can we do to go to the next level? In my business, if you look at our business cards, we have big heads, little bodies on everything. Why? Because people have always said, you DJs all have big heads. That's right, we have big heads. There we go. Okay? So that's our thing. You remember it. Some people aren't going to like it, though. That's what I'm asking you to do is saying, okay, does my marketing break through the clutter? And the way you can tell is, does it turn a certain percentage of people away? Okay? So is your marketing geared for your customer base, the customer you're after? Okay? Case in point, if you're marketing a Lexus, they're not too concerned about what certain regions of Broken Arrow have to say about it. They're concerned about Utica, these wealthy pockets in South Tulsa. They're not too concerned about middle-class America when they market Lexus. Okay? So your business, is it marketed specifically? Does it break through the clutter? And if you could just kind of write a yes or a no there, maybe yes or no. It's okay if it doesn't. My business did not. It was just like every other DJ company in the country. It's just we were really good at doing our presentation, but it wasn't any different. Okay? Next thing it says, previous customers. Where does your business come from? Previous customers. You can just write down a percentage. Previous customers. How many of your customers refer a friend? It's a horrible book, but I met with Chet Cadjo for breakfast, and I picked his brain, and he said, you have to read this, The Service Profit Chain. This is the book. It's a Harvard case study. Do this, eureka. So I read this, I'm going through, and it asks you rhetorically, what percentage of your business is previous customers? At the time, we were about 40%. What percentage there? Next thing, trade shows. Trade shows. Can you quantify it? Okay. Well, what percentage of your business comes from trade shows? Okay. Next thing, internet marketing. What percentage comes from internet marketing? I can tell you from working with Veronica firsthand, last year we had about 14% of all of our business that came in via the internet. You combine that with previous customers, that's almost all of our business. So I can tell you that a large percentage of our business did go through Tulsa celebrations, but you have to be in front of the customer. Moving along, yellow pages, what percentage? Vendor referrals, what percentage? Public relations, what percentage? Okay? And then I ask you at the end of it to think about this. Do you even track? Because the first question when you call DJ Connection, the customer says, what do you guys charge for a DJ? And we respond by saying, well, let me ask you this. How do you guys hear about us? Like it's just conversational. We just dodged it like a ninja. They ask, how much do you charge? Well, awesome. Let me ask you this. How do you guys hear about us? I don't even say the price. I don't say I'm not going to tell you. I just, how do you guys hear about us? Then I go into it. Okay? And I have to know because then I can track it and I can tally it up. So last year I know directly where my income was. So when Jeff called to renew the product, I think it was $1,200 for the year. I had enough. Yes, I will do it. $1,200. Let's do it. Sign the check. Man, let's go. But Yellow Page guy called. You know what I mean? So it allows me to be pragmatic and not emotional. Okay? Again, we're taking the emotion out of it to get me to where I want to go. Where I want to go is a profitable business that gives me free time. I don't want to be spending my money working to buy ads that don't work. Okay? Moving along here. The initial call. When somebody calls you, what emotion do you want your customer to feel? That's a good question. What emotion? You can take just a second to write that down. Do you want them to feel trusted? I mean, in the banking industry right now, you probably want to make them feel integrity, trust, sincerity, not going to screw you over, not going to go lose all your deposits today, we're not going out of business, we're doing well. You know what I mean? That's probably you want to put the image you want to portray. You are in the computer repair business, knowledgeable, friendly, cordial, eager to serve. You know, depends. In the DJ business, you want to sound like you're on the microphone having a great time when they call. You have to choreograph the emotional response they want. If you want a good example, look at Disney. Look how they market themselves once you go to Disney World. But a greeting, what emotion do you want people to have? And then the initial call. Do you have a greeting written for your staff so that every single time they answer the phone the same way? If you don't, you got some work to do today. Okay? Do you have a greeting every single time? Next thing, Sales presentation. Does everyone say the same sales presentation every single time? Or is it random based on skills? Because if it's based on skills, then as soon as that guy quits, you're at his mercy. You have like a terrorist employee. You want to fire him, but you can't fire him because he's the only guy who can close the deal, right? You want to let him go. You have a small business. There's 4 people. You got your Uncle Larry, you, your dad, and then Dude. And you want to fire Dude, but you can't because he's the only one who can close the deal. We hear it all the time in meetings. We know this is what happens. But for some reason, we're like, well, he's just a good salesperson. We'll keep him through the holidays. And then we'll keep him through the spring, and then we'll keep him through, and holy crap, you hate working with this guy. And you started the business. It's your company, but you hate your job. You know what I mean? This is what happens. So can you make a sales presentation that delivers consistency?
Your boy is back. Yo, yo, yo.